Hi guys, so today we have got our practice supply of the Wampa cave. So we analysed it yesterday, we're going to have a quick look at it today. As you can see, we've got ourselves Wordsmith Wendy here, and instead of scribbling all the answers, I thought it might make a bit more sense if I actually typed, and it might speed things up a little bit as well. So for our Wordsmith Wendy, we've got to use prior knowledge. It's fine to have prior knowledge. And that's the thing with words. Sometimes we may know what a word means purely because we've read it before, we've heard it, and some of us won't know it purely because we haven't come across it before. That is the problem sometimes with Wordsmith Wendy. But you can also do some plausible inference. You can work out what the word might mean from the context, from the sentence that you've read it in. So let's have a little look at what we've got to do today. I have given you a list of words. You've got 9 words, and they kind of build up in terms of trickiness, I suppose. And we've also got our text. So all we need to do today is kind of go through and have a look at what these words could mean. Now, in the task, it says down here, clarify words with your own definition. So basically, write them as definitions. So number 1, mounds, and then as if you'd read in a dictionary. Let's have a look for the word mound. You might know, this is the thing, you might know what some of these mean. As darkness cloaked the mounds of snow. Because obviously I've typed that wrong. My apologies. It should be mounds. We've got, well, we know what a mound is, don't we? A mound, it's how you write it really. A small pile of something. It could be something smaller than a hill. Could be a small pile of earth or snow in this case. Yeah, there you go. Something like that. Number 2, majestic. So if something's majestic, let's have a look. If something's majestic, got to find where majestic is. Wait, yeah, here we go. Majestic stalactites hung from the cave ceiling. Glistening snow, majestic. You might not be able to work it out, but if something's majestic, you normally say that if it's majestic, it's something, well, it's kind of got the word magic, hasn't it? Magic has that same start, if something's majestic. So it's wonderful to look at, amazing, we could put magical. I think that would be fine for that one, wouldn't it? Number 3, if something's unconscious. Now you should know the word unconscious. Hung by his feet, a young Jedi, Luke Skywalker, was unconscious, blooded and bruised. But how you explain what unconscious is? Because unconscious doesn't mean you're asleep. There's a difference between being conscious and unconscious. And if you're conscious, you're aware of, your body is aware of its surroundings. So if you're asleep and somebody pokes you, you wake up. So unconscious does not mean asleep. Unconscious means that your body isn't aware of its surroundings. It might be that you want to go online and find that the very definition of unconscious. But if you're unconscious, you're knocked out. We could put knocked out. But if you're conscious, sleeping, you're still technically conscious. Your brain is still aware of if there's a stimulant from the outside world, so you can feel, you can hear. So it's a trick. That one's a tricky one. I'm actually curious to see how you answer that one, because it's quite hard to explain in just a couple of words, I suppose, as a definition. Number 4, we've got shallow. Let's have a look at shallow. So shallow, you've got to skim read, find where shallow is. Is it his breath? Here we go. His shallow, warm breaths. And now you should know this, because even if you can't work it out in that sentence, you've got the shallow end of a pool. So shallow means not deep, maybe short. If something's shallow, it's not deep, it's short. I think that would be fair to put for that one. Cascaded. Brilliant word. The ice and wind cascaded around the barren landscape. Now we've talked about cascade. If something cascades, it 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 falls or crashes down with power. And in a dictionary, sometimes it'll give you an example. For example, the waterfall cascaded down. Okay, the water is the powerful thing crashing down. So you can always give another example after you've tried to explain your definition. Chandelier. Now, I think that's probably one of the most tricky ones, one of the trickier ones, if you don't know what it is. Majestic stalactites hung from the cave ceiling like a priceless chandelier. So it's something that's priceless, very expensive, that hangs from the ceiling. That's a tricky one to work out if you haven't come across the word before. We should have done though by now. So chandelier, very expensive, hanging from the ceiling, usually glass. Yeah, usually, oops, usually glass. So even though we're not doing inference dot deduction, I think this because yes, some of your answers can be short, but you've still got to think carefully about how you word it. Because if you don't word your definition right, it could mean something else, or it could not mean it enough. If that makes sense. Ooh, now the last three. Inhospitable. It's on the top line. In the inhospitable lands of Hoth. Now you've got the word hospitable. Suppose you've got the start of hospital. If something's in, you've got a prefix in something, so it's indirect, so it's not direct. If something's hospitable, I think this one you might know it or you might not know it. Okay, which is the case with a lot of things, isn't it? I mean, you could read the paragraph. What sort of land is it? Does it mean that it's cold and snowy? Does it mean that maybe it's a horrible place to be? Snarling, the wind's got snarling teeth, it's biting at you. There's darkness cloaking the mounds of snow. However you work it out, or you might not be sure of that one, be honest. Inhospitable. Oh, ah, there we go. Lost where it had gone. Inhospitable is I'm trying to think myself how to explain this now. If something is inhospitable, you it's hard a place that is hard to survive and living things a place that living things find hard to survive. Okay, so it's inhospitable. It's not somewhere you would live. Impending. Now this is your impending doom, isn't it? And unaware of his impending doom. So he's hanging. Impending doom, it's almost similar to the word we've used in class that's ominous. So if something's impending, it's ominous, going to happen, usually something bad. Right, I've just run out of room to fit the last one on. How annoying. See if we can squeeze it on the bottom. Penetrating. If you penetrate something, a surge of fear penetrated his stomach. You can penetrate somebody's defences. To penetrate is to break through. And normally something strong, break through something strong. Now they can penetrate easily, so maybe it doesn't have to be something strong. You break through something is to penetrate. There we go. So, little different kind of reading task there this week, giving your own definitions. I'll look forward to seeing how you word those definitions. You'll notice here I've got some short and some longer ones, depends on the word. Okay, but what I've not got is simply one word answers. Think about a dictionary definition. Does not just give you another word. Okay, it's a little note, a little kind of clue as to what the word can mean. So, well done with that. There might be a couple of words that you've missed out, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, but give it a go with the ones that you can do, and I look forward to seeing your very own definitions for these words.